Repeat it several times. Oh, we were silent all the way, yes.
He loves spring and wants to express it repeatedly.
I am a fan of spring. Hey, I didn't tell you that I'm a sex lover, so let everyone listen and we'll go first.
We will be surprised and asked many times again. No, it turns out you are a spring fan.
So, follow me. I'm just talking and I've been explaining that I'm a spring fan along the way, just what Ah-Chen said when he came on stage. There are many things in this market, all of which can be fried. Well, come on and follow us all the way through this journey. Just after Ah-Chong stepped onto the stage, we realized that one day is simply not enough. It feels as if we have seen and experienced so much, and all about Bitcoin seems to be clear and tied together.
Just talking about myself, a few hours before he took office, he suddenly rushed up from positions 103, 104 and walked away with 109,000 US dollars. New high department. Then everyone expected him to sign an executive order on the first day and then turn Bitcoin into a national treasury reserve. He said it should be broadcast live at 12:09 Hong Kong time, so I listened carefully. When you hear the last second, you just look at the Bitcoin price and it falls all the way. Because he didn't mention any crypto, so he mainly talked about the issue of illegal immigration, and then fairness, equality, etc. He also talked about oil, that's it. However, none of them brought up the topic of cryptocurrency, so when you observe the lowest point, it should have decreased to nearly 100,000 individual heads. The house rummaged again and it was bound.
What is the latest series now?
104,104. Yes. I'm sorry, but today I specifically want to have a conversation with Chris about a particular small topic that involves him. It's been a while since I last played the game. I don't know if it appeared before or after the game. It's just like the meme coins we talked about all day long. So Trump, actually, there was just one Trump coin and it went crazy all over the world. Yes, actually, he came out before, but his wife was right behind him.
Hey, it seems to be Chun's, so it's January 17th, and his wife's is January 19th, so it seems to be 19th.
19, that is, after he came on stage. Hey, it's been said in the market that my wife belongs to Meek, and my wife only belongs to Melina, right? As soon as this revolutionary coin was introduced to the market, it was named Bitcoin. In fact, when it became available, its value declined because many people sought to arbitrage money to purchase its coins.
Does it matter? I don't know. People in the market say so. But for him personally, what exactly is his market value?
It's a long way to go. But actually, before diving into other topics, let me first discuss Chun. Many people have also asked us, particularly after this weekend, about what exactly a meme coin is. In fact, this first awakened everyone to know that there are many different types of cryptocurrency. Pay attention, as many current articles are similar. Meme coins basically have no practical use behind them. If anything, it's not like that. Maybe Bitcoin has its own network. As for meme coins, you can just think of us, those tiny yes cards. What a way to save them. If your words gain traction, celebrities are likely to endorse them. Trump's fame makes him the country's most notable figure. If you said it before, it might be Dogecoin. Well, that's the type. As for this one, it is not recommended to get involved, especially if you are an individual investor or a retail investor. Retail investors should not have access to purchase through channels regulated by the Hong Kong Securities Regulatory Commission. The statement describes a weekend that abruptly ended, during which a value rose from 70 cents to a peak above that, but then quickly fell back down. There are many mosquitoes with a significant number at home, resulting in a large presence. Department. So if you say it has nothing to do with the price of Bitcoin, if you look back at the other ones, we call them altcoins. On the contrary, the decline of altcoins will be larger. If many people engage with meme coins, it may attract more regular investors to participate as well. There is potential for small investors, including some institutional ones in the Bitcoin market. It is quite possible that those of us who have been consistently buying tightly for a long time might not be caught off guard because of this wave. The main reason for the cryptocurrency correction could be the high expectations people have regarding its performance when Trump returns to power. This temporary drop may not be immediately understood or realized.
Because right at the very beginning of the show, before you arrived, I had a discussion with the group for a while and mentioned that it's not just this spring coin. Well, actually, does it have any substitutable options at all? Or because, for example, if I am an ordinary Hong Kong citizen, or maybe it's not easy to come into contact with virtual assets, it's time to step in and explore it. In fact, these coins seem to be based on the celebrities that Chris talked about. So where can we find the true investment value? Hey, is it possible that if a celebrity endorses a product, then this particular coin will closely follow its popularity? In this manner, the overall risk involved is significantly greater than that of Bitcoin. Well, first of all, you can't use it effectively in the market. It's not like Bitcoin, which currently has some level of acceptability among users and merchants. Even if you manage to buy something with it, the value it holds is quite limited. Now, even the US Securities and Exchange Commission will acknowledge that a door has been opened because of this situation. Wow, that's not true. Celebrity coins or spring coins are just money that comes from a celebrity, relatively speaking.
However, even if it is classified as a spring coin, it remains a truly special coin, officially issued by the President of the United States. So there is no news out now. In fact, there are some issues about ETFs. Foreign ones have been submitted to the China Securities Regulatory Commission, so they have listed a few of them, and many of them include Bitcoin. There are some other things included. Conse, those that include Trump are ETFs, but of course they have not been approved, so please wait and see if there is any update, so the market trend thinks it may not be possible. But it seems like you were talking about it first. In fact, meme coins are really common. There is nothing behind it. First of all, there won't be like stable coins. There are some collateral assets behind it. That is, it's a related asset. It is also impossible that Bitcoin has many uses now. Let's just say you can make inscriptions, win, and so on. So a meme coin is relatively similar to creating art or making flashcards, where creativity and fun play significant roles in the process.
Before NFTs, digital art was being sold as artworks.
So of course, if it's on the ground, then yes. However, if you happen to mention it, for instance, after seeing the celebrity during the weekend, and then a photo gets leaked, it could potentially happen. But of course, there is a risk in the middle. The amplitude of the wave can be very large.
We all engaged in lively discussions about it when Chun made his entrance into the scene. In fact, some individuals anticipated that as soon as he arrived, he would eagerly discuss Bitcoin, virtual assets, and related topics extensively. However, it seems that even if it is indeed possible, there may not even be a discussion of certain issues, such as potential tariffs on China, just to mention it. There are hundreds of executive orders kicking China all the way.
We're beginning discussions about it today.
Yes, even if the market initially thought that he would talk about it as soon as he came out, because in his eyes China is not the only important thing, then yes, they have to kick it, because you are always the largest trading partner, yes. So I think it's all related to tariffs, but other China issues are not of concern to them. It's so obvious, so, right?
Is there anything related to China that he is indifferent about?
Inquire with the Secretary of State. We will discuss it in a future episode focused on them.
Yes.
The Secretary of State is currently not sanctioned due to a translation change. What is it? The Secretary of State was originally sanctioned. The Secretary of State was a senator, and his name was Rubio. I changed the name to avoid following him, and the official translation changed it to Rubio. Well, then it doesn't match. Let's punish it together. Yes, the sanctions document are official documents, not in English.
System. Hong Kong is different. It's definitely not the same.
Oh, even if I don't fully understand, maybe... Actually, no, this event truly happened, yes, without a doubt. But I honestly don't know if it's really such a big joke. Yes. Yeah, but you can pay more attention to it. Yes, everyone is the same. It has nothing to do with our Bitcoin investment. I am not someone to pay attention to.
We came back and checked, no. But I just mentioned, some people really believed he would begin discussing Bitcoin or perhaps China, but no, that was not the case.
It's obvious that sometimes he feels it's more important, right?
But as of today, even if I take office it's the 20th and now it's the 22nd, there's news today. Let's talk about the United States. The SEC has been talking to Chris. Just talk. Hey, a new system has been established. Finally, a virtual currency working group has been set up. Yes, you are right. Yes, can you please tell me, Chris? In fact, this group is really related to the future. In addition to formulating a more complete system of supervision in this way that is more perfect, there are other things. What are the possible benefits, or in terms of the trend of Bitcoin, will it have any impact or good? That is, it is good news.
In fact, the market itself is expecting it to be talked about on the first day. So, of course, everyone, especially cryptocurrency investors, related investors, or people in the industry, it's somewhat disappointing. It's understandable that he didn't mention it on the first day, as many others were discussing it. There are more pressing national issues that take priority. So it's not like he's not doing anything. That's right, basically, because Gary Scott resigned as soon as he took office on the first day. In addition, since Paul Asquith has not yet been confirmed by Congress, he has appointed an interim chairman to oversee operations. So the acting chairman of the site is called Mark, and he is actually a supporter of cryptocurrency. It turns out that he also has the power to issue some orders or policies. Today marks the announcement of a newly formed task force. It is now evident that the primary objective of this group is to establish regulations for a wide range of cryptocurrencies. Their influence is significant, and the market has reacted strongly, causing a downturn. So, in fact, whether it is about Bitcoin or not, there is a lot of news coming out. Are there any other new cryptocurrency ETFs that may be coming out? In fact, this factor, it doesn't matter whether it comes out or not, or if you look at it in the long run, it is actually good for the development of cryptocurrency. In fact, if you establish a thriving industry, then naturally Bitcoin, even just one unit of it, will be influenced by that industry. All of them are affected. People understand that if he doesn't have it on the first day, there's nothing to be done. In fact, the first 100 days of his taking office will be relatively critical days.
So there is no administrative order. To be honest, the United States is a vast country with a rich and complex history, alongside a comprehensive and well-established political and social system. There's no need to ask about everything. Matters should be organized administratively. It might actually be beneficial. Now, yes, you are now the SEC replacement.
System. You turned around the first day I signed your administrative order. It's a reserve and everything is fine. When I issue an executive order, it might only be a one-time action. Where when you talk about long-term development, you are actually talking about policy and institutional development. Yes, changes in policy are actually better, okay?
However, since Chum Chum officially took office, even when we discussed the implications of 3135 in terms of capital flow and market reactions, will there genuinely be an increase in individuals trying to invest? Will they opt to buy Bitcoin?
In fact, when Bitcoin first passed the 100,000 mark, there were actually a lot of them. That is, relatively many investors started selling them. Because of the system, I remember that it rose to 30% in about a week or two. Yes, I seem to have discussed it before. It is too short term. Even if it rises very fast, it is actually certain. There will be a bunch of investors who take profit. After that, I slowly started to find stability. In fact, some savvy investors began to strategically buy even more assets. Yes. Many people are inquiring about the method for monthly repayment. System. Yes. Many investors are starting to take this into account. You were promoted too quickly, similar to before. If you don't consistently apply a regular investment strategy, you might end up entering the market when prices are high, like at 100,000. If you wait for 70,000, I won't let you in, but I will chase you after 100,000. Yes. But if you make monthly payments, if you turn around, it will fall from 100,000 to more than 90,000. Yes, it fell below 90,000. If you choose to use the average cost method for your investments, the average price should be as close to normal as possible, and the position of pro should remain tight and controlled.
Well, I remember that you set it too low one time, and it was just a little bit high, so you clamped it up. Yes, this is my friend. Yes, your friend. I hate your friend. This is my friend. This is a true friend, but I really dislike it deeply. Well, no, here we are now, after Chun Chun made a captivating appearance on the stage. Do you really think that Beacon will continue to perform well? And I apologize, but we are just at the very beginning of the show. By the way, hey, Tedden asked us a thought-provoking question in the last episode, which is, can 200,000 truly not be just a dream? I remember it, but it's been a while. Less than 100,000.
So what's the point? I noticed what today's topic was.
Today's topic is unclear, as I told you to listen, but I don't know what it is myself. I also want to take a closer look at today's interesting topic, which is how the current layout and landscape of virtual assets appear today, particularly in light of Trump's administration policies. But because of the title of our last episode, I thought, hey, it seems to be suitable for this episode, so I will continue to loop in this advertisement. Is 200,000 still not a dream?
Did the last episode claim 200,000 isn't a dream? Have.
Previously, it was 90,000.
We'll likely see you this year.
This year is moving quickly, and it's still just the beginning. But in the blink of an eye, it's almost the end of the old year.
The calculations from 2 years ago were 150%, and from last year were 120%.
If the family's budget is 100%, 100% is very reasonable, isn't it?
Hey, I'm truly not great at counting, so I really have to ask, what is it exactly?
Order? Double it?
Yes, no, but since you all discussed halving some time ago, this halving will not only reduce the price, but will have broader implications, boss. No, I understand. I fully comprehend. That's precisely what I mean, You dig.
I know, I laugh.
You felt suffocated for some time now. Keeping track of it like this will make it rarer, or maybe more rare. Then the price will get higher and higher. Yes, last year the percentage was 120, while the year before it was 150.
If you keep reducing it, it will drop to 100% this year and reach 200,000.
So this matter is not related to anything, it's just half the matter, it can be reduced by half.
Are you still asking whether this is related to Donald Trump? I still want to be prepared to respond. It's not a big deal.
Many believe his recent promotion was due to Donald Trump. He accelerated the pace, with numbers rising from 70,000 to over 100,000 during his election period. Because the point about him is that when he speaks, many people listen to it, so everyone is ready to enter the market. The past halving cycle's effects depend on their frequency of increase. Notably, Donald Trump was not a supporter of cryptocurrencies during those times. He was talking during the battle, he was here back then, and many people brought it up and said it. He was an opponent back then, right? Yes. So does this have nothing to do with Donald Trump? That is to say, it is actually not allowed to talk about his business. This is purely because he has accelerated this time, and this time the price implication may be faster.
So you add that Elon Musk and several other celebrities are actively touting? Virtual currency, yes.
So first, let's patiently wait until your Tesla can successfully acquire Bitcoin. Yes.
It appears that something that was previously available is now suddenly unavailable in 2022.
However, there are numerous contradictions present in this complex world of virtual assets. In the perspective of all regulators, it appears that all these various virtual assets are classified as securities indeed. But in fact, its true essence is a digital currency, specifically a decentralized currency. Yes, but this regulator really doesn't want to see your decentralization. I can't follow your wallet, and I can't follow the people behind you. I don't want to see you the most. That's all. Yes, indeed, I will certainly think that you are correct. Yes, it is always a rarity, but it also possesses significant topical relevance. So in the short to medium term, which is about a year or so, if you want a double, you can refer to the previous achievements and the current scarcity. Actually, I genuinely think that a double serving is perfectly okay, alright? But I feel very unclear about how it will develop in the future. It's not merely about how the price fluctuates over time, it's fundamentally about transforming into a valuable virtual asset. If it's destined to keep declining, what's the purpose? You can't just fry the mail ball, actually.
Department. Many colleagues have spoken, and even the SEC has some supervision. That is, a working group has been stirred up. I think that the market should be supervised in the future. It will become more rigorous.
Perhaps it's just perfect indeed, so let's be optimistic.
Now, when you turn around, everyone thinks that many things you said were true but actually false, which means they were all fake. Now, what's more important, even if you are talking about this year, even if you are talking about previous cycles, in fact, if you look at each cycle, it has a theme which makes its price rise a lot. Generous. Recently, you've been discussing topics like NFTs and DeFi, just like you did last year. This year, it should actually be relatively national sovereignty, private purchases, and institutional investors. In fact, some institutional investors should have started to tighten up. Michael Cheng is the most famous example, and on that day, I purchased 11,000 pills, 11K, 11,000 pills. Following that, essentially, only a few sovereign nations began to invest in it. But some smaller countries have already officially designated Bitcoin as part of their treasury reserves, including countries like North Sudan. The United States has yet to begin this process despite its size. If you plan carefully this year, this must be one of your top priorities to focus on. This trend makes Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies a topic that has increasingly gained popularity and widespread usage.
But on the contrary, I'm really worried that not only may it be put into its own treasury reserves, but the United States will not.
Because not only was it actually done in the early days, but he didn't buy it, he dug it himself. Oh yes, it truly is. Even before we were aware that there were other sovereign countries capable of purchasing it, neither Bhutan nor Ningbo ever claimed that they possessed it or had any rights to it. Recently, it was revealed that their wallets contained significant water sources similar to waterfalls. This discovery changed people's perceptions about them. The region has abundant, inexpensive hydroelectric power. They built a machine, regained electricity, and continued digging, which recently contributed about 1/1 of their country's GDP, slightly over that.
But what if, may I ask, how many pills did you actually find?
They announced it, but I don't remember it. Check their recently announced GDP online to see the results.
He confidently came up with a big wok in one go.
They lack the knowledge.
It's not solely about the happiness index, but that's part of it.
Yes, it's good luck. Good luck with that.
Good luck. Good luck with that. This country lacks materialism.
Maybe it's something, there's nothing to do with it, right?
Hey, if you're someone who hasn't visited a more modern country yet, you have a lot of interesting things to discover and buy here. Hey, I have nothing to do, so I dug it up myself. I'll sell it. Sell, retrieve it, and trade for cash.
Yes. We need to wait to see if he can keep his promise. I've decided that I really don't want to sell it at all. Regardless of whether they sell or not, it stems from their prior experience in microbusiness. They previously unearthed many artifacts along the Silk Road, raising fears of them being sold. But now that it's officially on the market, it should be piled up high, and there's absolutely no chance that it will be sold anytime soon. Among them, they also have others, but all of them account for one of them, which is the money that their own government has. Yes.
In addition to discussing Bitcoin at today's meeting, it's important to highlight that Christy is present, which is a rare opportunity. She also manages several ETFs, including the latest news regarding them. Moreover, I'd like to inquire about Trump's recent developments. With this groundbreaking OpenAI initiative, SoftBank and Oracle have announced their plans to invest up to $500 billion in various innovative AI projects. The 500 billion yuan refund equals 4 trillion Hong Kong dollars. Okay, here it comes. Just follow this. If these three companies keep talking, a joint venture will be established, which will create 100,000 jobs in the United States. This project conveys some genuinely positive news. For us, it could relate to advancements in blockchain technology or developments in semiconductor technology. Currently, the trend in semiconductors suggests that considering the present landscape, we might as well open up discussions on your 3132 technology today to explore its potential further. But did the company 3132 actually buy SoftBank?
Yes. I didn't buy the original one, sorry.
317 day tour.
Well, this one is the company that bought some semiconductors, 20 of them.
Yes, follow me. Actually, we are from China. Actually, Masayoshi-son is not. Sorry, I am not from China. Sorry. Masayoshi-son's SoftBank plans to invest 100 billion US dollars immediately, highlighting its financial power. For instance, a state-of-the-art data center and an innovative AI park have been established. Microsoft and Nvidia, along with several other major players in the tech industry, are all expected to participate, meaning virtually all the big names are gathered together in this event. Let's do this AI project.
This piece of news is actually, we have a lot of things. We have 3 ETFs that are all related to it. First of all, SoftBank has impressively raised 10% in value today. We did buy SoftBank in our 3171 blockchain ETF, yes. Based on what I said today, he was actually promoted well last week. Last week, a bunch of Bitcoin miners, when the price went up, they all had a chance to go up. AI is considered vital and its significance is closely linked to semiconductors. This connection is evident as any U.S. investment in technology is likely to involve semiconductors. In addition, the 10 largest technology stock companies in the United States, 2104, are also relevant. In fact, the most important thing is that on the first day Trump took office, his first sentence was to put America first. That is, to bring back the golden age of the United States. Coolest thing about America? It's just technology. So in fact, this is specifically the AI project this time, although it uses many other countries, companies from other countries to form joint ventures. Local technology stocks, particularly certain tech companies, will ultimately benefit more from its final development. It's now the year 2025. In fact, we have thoroughly examined many different technology companies and their future plans are predominantly based on advanced AI. Hey, Apple seems to be preparing to release a new model soon. So what Google said is even more indescribable. In fact, Google has, or already has, basically a lot of games that can be played with AI. Even Meta is preparing to have this new trend recently. Because he has mentioned it. In fact, their AI can replace some MID level engineers. That is, they don't exactly lay off employees if they come in. Concise text. A single sentence sparked concerns about potential layoffs again. So, in fact, many companies have been working on it secretly. That is, they are integrating AI into their companies, and in the end, they are pushing it out to be sold on surfaces for investment, for customers to use. Make money. If you decide to do it internally, there will be some cost. How much money does the company make due to cut cost? So, but no matter what, the AI project will benefit in the end, and of course the ones who will benefit the fastest are semiconductors and some technology companies. The decline continued, possibly affecting small and medium enterprises. In fact, even in our own company, AI is often used.
Hey there, yes, we all began this journey together, and you definitely utilized our AI. You used AI to efficiently reply to emails. Don't you think I'm aware of that? Now, the new generation often finds it challenging to send emails without the assistance of AI. Yes, it is incredibly convenient, and it significantly enhances communication in terms of culture and politeness. That's just how it is. Don't you feel it? The emails I send were quite polite.
I knew it was AI as soon as I saw the first sentence. AI must have a first sentence. I hope this email finds you well. Yes, I will delete it. I know how to do it.
Because we need to make good use of AI.
Exactly, that's correct. Well, let's talk about AI. In fact, all of our programs contain elements of AI. Yes, that's it. Because if you have noticed, we, I think since the last episode, have been using advanced AI technology to create an English version of our detailed investment notes for better accessibility and understanding. That's right, everyone who is interested can take a look at it, that's all.
I am an AI and not from Singapore, so my English is not linked to that origin.
Both of us are discussing unprecedented matters, except for this point. Strive to speak English very fluently. Yes, so fluent. I wanted to get Chris's opinion on the news that Trump has chosen 3 companies across various sectors in the U.S. Additionally, these companies have been allocated $500 billion for an AI project. Taste this. What is the potential for their future development in the field of AI technology?
Because it's okay, you have to worry about it. Video is already huge. So it's impossible to be huge anymore. No matter how huge it is, it's because it's irreplaceable. It's about this moment. Yes, its market share is 90%. I believe that this advantage will likely persist for at least the first half of Donald Trump's presidential term, and I am quite confident about that. However, during an interview as the Chief Technology Officer of Google, he remarked that in our operations, we indeed possess a variety of hardware components, including advanced chips and other technologies. In certain areas, particularly with language models, we have made significant advancements and are currently ahead of China in this regard. He emphasized that, to some extent, China has yet to reach the same level of technological development and innovation that we have achieved. But one thing is that in terms of AI or technology, China is catching up very fast. We can't always be aware of it. We will lead it or restrain it. So what type of reaction can we expect this system to actually produce in practice? We always wonder how the market will react. The U.S. government's crisis perspective, as noted by Chung Wenke, indicates its awareness of its technological advantages. This awareness drives a continuous effort to strengthen its scientific and technological capabilities. Certainly. Here's the expanded version of the original text. Of course, on one hand, these tariffs and embargoes will continue to be enforced, potentially impacting trade relations, but at the same time, they are fostering and strengthening some of their own technological development initiatives. In fact, this situation can be quite beneficial, particularly for some of the frontline technology companies and innovative enterprises that are working hard to advance their capabilities and market positions. I think the pattern will not change drastically if all of them are integrated. Indeed, on the other hand, we can actually anticipate some of these events to occur. For example, there were numerous instances last year, and there was a comprehensive media report that covered similar issues the year before last, and this pattern has been observed consistently over time, indicating a trend we can expect to continue. In the aftermath, some company revelations went largely unnoticed, despite their potential significance.
Absolutely, yes, I agree, but I can patiently wait for Christy. Perhaps once we finish our bacon breakfast and the OpenAI session, we can have a discussion about a particular stock. For now, I need to sort out some details later. I currently hold 400 shares.
I was so shocked that I prioritized my well-being over the money. Yes.
Yes, indeed, yes, I'm uncertain, but you're not sure. But I don't need to. I don't need to dress like that. So, no, today's OpenAI is the AI topic we are talking about and the topic of Bitcoin. In fact, they are almost the same, but I hope that next time when I see Chris, I think it should be because,
I believe that marriage would bring continuous innovations. You frequently visit the capital, and before leaving, he always makes sure to talk to me. Please come soon.
The last time you paid 90,000, it seemed to be almost 11. Well, it was clamped and it was almost 11. Be consistent.
I used to compete in football matches, and I believe it's somewhat challenging to secure a victory before the weekend arrives.
No, it's really not difficult at all, is it? Yes, it's simply 3,000, just 3,000.
You shouldn't buy futures. Instead, consider buying some to store. Can you do that? Can you succeed or not? I don't have any at all.
Even if surprises arise, once words are spoken, they become reality. It's important to be mentally ready for volatility, which can range from 20 to 30%. If you consistently buy Bitcoin, you should monitor your long-term investments closely. Don't let fear drive you to sell all your goods simply due to a decline of 20 or 30%. We should focus on our long-term perspective rather than short-term fluctuations that occur over a few days. By 2025, there could be shortages depending on the policies enacted and influence the price trend just a little.
Yes, if you are truly interested in purchasing Beacon, your company has already established a platform for our virtual assets. Your company, yes indeed, you can download our app easily, but if you're interested in purchasing ETFs, you might want to consider 3135 like this one. Today is quite fine, thank you so much, Christy. I hope that the next time you visit here, we should have a total of 15 people, that is 20, 15.
12 is all right. He mentioned 100,000 when it was at 50,000, so if you provide 100,000, that will be prioritized.
Greedy.
No need to rush, you can go up slowly.
Tie it. Then we will turn around and talk to one person about the Hong Kong stock market. Okay. So send Peter out first.
Let's discuss this first, all right?
Turn around and keep talking. We will see you all again, sir. All right, here we go. Let's dive into the discussion. We need to talk about some specific Hong Kong stocks, okay?
What? Talk to me about Hong Kong stocks tonight. The Hong Kong stock market is at 30,000 points, but that wasn't my goal.
Not yet. I am unsure about the news I encountered today, particularly the speech about the ticket drop from 28,000 to 22,000. I don't remember seeing anyone saying it was 6,000 points a year. Yes, but it was 28,000, and it dropped to 22,000, 6,000 points. So the question is whether it can reach 25,000 now is also a question.
Can't get on now. Yes, that's it. It's understandable to rise slowly, waiting for a chance to move up. Yes.
Yes, well, because, as we just mentioned previously, everyone seems to believe that Trump will deliver a significant speech specifically focused on China.
What specific types of tariffs are there in this situation? He responded with 10%. Way since he did not mention the matter when he came on stage and also delivered a speech, he will review and assess whether he effectively implemented China's policies during his first term in office.
Oh, hey, did Biden carry it out?
No, in the last 4 years of his presidency under Biden's administration, there have been many changes and developments. How is the implementation going? Yes, that's what he said. But yes, indeed, hey, if you take a closer look at it, it forms a detailed layout. Hey, and one is warmly welcomed, Vice President Vance. Fullmans is currently not in touch with his true political philosophy, which means he is likely confused about his core beliefs and values. Because he is not actually a political figure, he is not yet formed. He is 4 years, 4 months, and 0 days old, a good young boy, but still very young. Then the position of Rubio on the other side is quite clear. Rubio represents Guo Maoxing in this context. Well, yes, it's very clear, so you don't have to worry that China issues will not be absent.
Yes, no, but everyone was quietly thinking about whether he would arrive as soon as the 20th, yet I didn't know that was the situation, and I felt genuinely happy for a while.
Do you remember the conversation we had on the 21st? It was just a phone call with Xi Jinping. It was polite, and that was okay.
As I know today, I have already spoken. Hey, I have slowly begun to work on the issues I talked about before, which is that China will add 10% tariffs.
It seems that what I am talking about is the United States is so clearly aware of the threat that China poses to it, more clearly than we are. While at the same time, China and the United States are fundamentally different countries, each with distinct cultural values and contrasting ideologies.
System.
If these two specific conditions are present, it will be quite difficult for them to form a closer connection or bond. Okay, look, the United States and Japan were buried under the same roof in the 1980s, and Japan was so stagnant in listening to it. Japan's ideology is also similar to that of the United States, and the two are allies. So if you look at the United States, what happened after the bubble burst in Japan? Of course, he certainly has his own unique problems. However, if you consider that the United States, when faced with any formidable opponent, typically relies not on aircraft and artillery, but rather on the strategic actions and influence of Wall Street and the financial sector to achieve its goals.
It is utilized in the financial market. That's right. Hey, you are talking about currency. Actually, I saw a piece of news today, but I am really sorry because I didn't read it carefully. But at the beginning of their conversation, they thought about abolishing the linked exchange rate. In terms of ComCom, they said they would abolish it. If they don't agree with Hong Kong, what's the point? It is not that necessary. If you really want to abolish it, it is on Hong Kong's side, so Hong Kong should abolish it itself.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched it. What is this news? Some people argue that the Hong Kong dollar should be pegged to the RMB instead of the US dollar. This is what people often say. However, in reality, and quite fortunately, he indeed did not take that action first. One might wonder, is he simply a person of questionable judgment, an idiot when it comes to international trade, or is he just misinformed about political matters? I tend to believe it's the latter. Since you previously mentioned that the RMB needs to be globalized, what specific actions or strategies are you planning to implement for the RMB? Use RMB directly if you want to use it.
So right, so close.
Because you and China are the same country, there is no doubt about that, right?
Yes.
The Hong Kong dollar must be pegged to the US dollar first, as Hong Kong and the United States are not the same country. Yes, but if you want to peg your Hong Kong dollar to the RMB, that means the Hong Kong dollar and the RMB are the same. So instead of them both being the same, you might as well convert them into separate shares. You can leave it on or take it off. It's challenging for you to be in the same country.
But the problem is, for me, I don't know if I would be sensitive if I said it this way. However, for individuals like you, the absence of a linked exchange rate can create significant challenges, particularly for certain potential business people. Maybe I'm really talking about this from an investor perspective. It's so troublesome. If you don't have a linked exchange rate, and if you truly wish to ask anything at all, just feel free to ask me. I've been on the phone for a while, but it's okay. I'm curious if you'd like an explanation of the troubles I'm facing.
Yes.
And I remember I told you in the last episode that some of my friends were really scared about the lack of linked exchange rate. Hey, this is a question. If you want to transfer some of your assets, do you need the entire offshore currency? Hey, an offshore account? It's the Swiss bank, so just place it in there securely.
See how rich you are? It's not money that can be transferred to a Swiss bank. I can only say that for my friends. It's very difficult to transfer money to a Swiss bank in Hong Kong, not just in Switzerland. I can't open an account. I have none.
Yes, but there are numerous voices and opinions in the middle of this discussion, so it ultimately feels like the linked exchange rate is quite useless. So everyone needs to think about what to do with their money.
You can assess our capability to uphold the linked exchange rate on 2 levels. If you're familiar with how the linked exchange rate operates, I won't provide further explanation.
It's true.
What are the necessary conditions for this? Yes, this is a foreign exchange fund. Is the exchange fund enough to maintain the joint exchange rate? Well, it is because it exceeds the monetary benchmark of the Hong Kong dollar. I remember it seems to be a few times more, But hey, this solid foundation is definitely enough for us. Well, that indicates he is capable of handling some very significant and extreme Hong Kong dollar selling orders in the market. Yes. Okay, this is a matter of ability. If you can't reach it in terms of ability, then it's not because you have to hang up, so there is no need to hang up. Yes, then this will really have to be abolished. We have no issues with our capability now. Well, politically, I honestly find it challenging to discuss the situation, and I truly have no idea whether the Hong Kong dollar will remain officially pegged to the US dollar. But if that is the case, everyone knows that it is equivalent to, that is, if the Hong Kong dollar is pegged to a currency, and the currency is likely to be the RMB, you are equivalent to abolishing the Hong Kong dollar. Yes, you might as well use RMB in Hong Kong. But what if you use RMB in Hong Kong? Where can I find your Hong Kong character? It's lost due to your actions. Yes, but another important question is, do you utilize offshore RMB currency? So how exactly do you engage in playing with offshore RMB? Again, yes. Of course, some people may say, oh, let's promote the internationalization of the RMB, but is the monetary base large enough? Do you think the liquidity is high enough? RMB refers to renminbi when abroad. In fact, it is not particularly popular in terms of widespread use and adoption. Overseas, that is outside China, that is outside mainland China, including Hong Kong. Hong Kong mainly uses offshore RMB.
Yes.
Even if you can go to Hong Kong, you don't have to go to the pharmacy to buy milk powder, right? After purchasing milk powder, the pharmacy can only deposit money into the bank, and he might miss the opportunity if he goes to a tea restaurant.
Yes, the money is distributed, come on.
Yes.
Using RMB in Hong Kong is quite challenging for you.
If so, Hong Kong is already using it a lot, right? Even taxi drivers may not accept it. Even at the retail level, there are numerous locations at the second level that don't require it. What's more, actually, I'm not talking about these specific aspects. I'm referring to the broader implications of it. If you compare it to the US dollar, you think about a multitude of settlements, and there are indeed numerous goods and commodities that are settled in US dollars. So, how many RMB are there in comparison? I'm confused about the contrast. What's wrong here? Yes, the liquidity. In fact, the international liquidity of the RMB is less than that of the euro. Cigarettes. A. At this moment, if you choose to hang the RMB or abolish the Hong Kong dollar in favor of using the RMB directly, you are in effect causing your financial society to collapse, essentially undermining its stability and functionality.
Yes, it's indeed the same thing. It further diminishes your already vulnerable position, making it even weaker. Yes, is it possible?
So I thought to myself, hey, I definitely won't do that after all.
So my friends, I have a friend who calls me on the phone just because I'm on the line, and I tell him, why don't you just calm down, because if you let this go, what trigger would make him think like this? No, he just said that many people around him started talking to him that he wanted to abolish the linked exchange rate.
Just follow me, then you will be able to exchange it into RMB.
He will leave with RMB after speaking. Then your assets will plummet to the ground with a loud bang.
So then he makes a new charge to your account.
Just ask me, is it okay to open an offshore Swiss account? Tell him how much money you have first.
It can be simpler than that.
Okay, just follow me and you can buy US dollars.
It is acceptable to open an account in Singapore.
You can also purchase foreign currency. I exchange Hong Kong dollars for US dollars.
Oh, it's on. Well, where is the risk? The significant risk is that the entire Hong Kong banking system might collapse entirely. Well, because they want to hedge. If they want to hedge, the first risk is the collapse of the linked exchange rate between the Hong Kong dollar and the US dollar. The second one is the collapse of the Hong Kong banking system. There is some causal relationship between the two things, or there is some joint relationship. Yes, there is a chance that there will be a joint relationship. Yes, so what he said is correct, but it doesn't have to be that far to Europe. There are other options in Asia. Singapore, you just said, yes, Singapore should be the best choice, because if you go to Japan, it is not that easy to open a bank account in those places.
We can definitely do this later if you're interested, but please don't ask me right now.
No, explore it yourself.
I also believe you will create a brief video to share your insightful thoughts.
But wow, can you teach us how to open an account in Singapore?
Taste this. We have business in Singapore, right?
We have business in Singapore, but we won't teach you how to open a bank account. You can ask and discuss it yourself. Ask your bank.
Yes, but let's talk about the situation of Hong Kong stocks. Hey, we have to go again, even if we have finished talking about Hong Kong stocks. It's clear there's nothing more.
Have you discussed it before?
Oh yes, they had an engaging discussion about the Hang Seng Index and its recent trends.
You're still rude today. I want to add something. What? The range you said was 28,000 and it dropped to 22,000.
Yes, I heard someone say that.
It hasn't reached 22,000 yet, so I'm emphasizing that point.
It's hard for you to even afford 25,000, let alone 28,000.
The meaning refers to a rise to 28,000 followed by a drop to 22,000. What does this signify? It's fastened. Let's wait and see what happens this year.
Tie it. People often discuss bad luck, and while I'm skeptical about it, I have something to share today. I want to mention two things, but I need 10 minutes to elaborate on one. You can mention all 6 points. Don't. Because, well, I distinctly remember watching Trump take the oath of office that day, and afterward he delivered a personal speech, right? He expressed his captivation and shared it with colleagues, which instantly reminded me of you. We have decided to abolish the mandatory collection of electric vehicles. This is the final decision on the matter. You and I are both under the observation of our colleagues. Yes, it's me. What does it have to do with me? My colleagues didn't understand me.
Oh, okay, so you think about it first, and then you think of me. Find a reason.
But what I initially said made me think of you specifically. Why? Speaking of electric cars, I know that you are quite knowledgeable about various vehicles, and you also have a strong appreciation for Tesla.
Are the stocks in question certainly cars?
Stocks and cars are interconnected, isn't it? I must have some misunderstandings about you. But anyway, I just want to say he mentioned he abandoned this car, so why do I keep thinking of you?
He didn't abolish electric vehicles. He abolished the mandate for electric vehicles.
I'm too lazy to create one.
Not lazy, they are active.
Expanding the electric vehicle mandate, what exactly does this repeal entail? I'm just talking about it. It's mainly aimed at the US government and some sub-states which have promoted this environmental protection policy in recent years. So if a certain region or the United States has to promote this policy, the transformation of EV like this. So we need to buy more EV cars and reduce these petrol cars. Hey, what are they called? Petrol trucks? The second CE, yes, is discussing the critical issue of reducing greenhouse gas emissions, but everyone knows that convincing Trump is not an easy task to achieve. As soon as he stepped onto the stage, he confidently said this sentence: "The trigger affects me while the explanation impacts you as I engage with the Tesla system." Well, there's a problem. It's a Tesla. Everyone knows it's an EV, but is it an MI first? It's an electric car. Leave it until tomorrow. After that, he also said something, that is, he would freeze. Hey, the government is allocating funds to build much-needed car charging stations, and he mentioned that he will consider putting an end to this electric vehicle tax deduction and subsidy. This is because the Biden administration currently has a tax break in place for electric vehicles, which has been quite beneficial for many consumers. He said that you can get a car purchase subsidy of up to 7,500 yen just like that. And besides, I'm genuinely worried about this situation. Even if Chun does indeed repeal the current ban on electric vehicles, I wonder if that action will cause some people to become less interested in actually purchasing an electric car. It raises some important questions about consumer behavior and market dynamics. There is a possibility of reduction even if the subsidy is removed.
The difference is indeed minimal.
Yeah, what does it mean that the gap is not that big?
Hey, even if you initially plan to buy a car, I would say that it is currently a typical car market right now. If your motivation for choosing a vehicle is solely based on factors such as taxes or the overall pricing of cars, then you will likely find yourself leaning towards one of two specific automotive brands or types of vehicles. This statement is undeniably accurate, and that's absolutely true. Well, but buying a car is not just a simple consideration since you are in the United States. In fact, there is no threshold for buying an ice machine. Basically, if you want it, you can buy it if you have money. Well, if you are in China, you have to do it in China. You have to get a license plate. It is very difficult to get a license plate in China. Some major cities.
The vehicle you mentioned is indeed a petroleum vehicle.
It doesn't matter if I get an electric car, I'll do what I want. Yes, even some cities require this, so you don't have to worry so much and buy an electric car immediately. Yeah, it's really quite challenging for you to buy a car in Japan. Is it truly that difficult? Prove you have a parking space. Want to buy a car in Singapore? Consider your options. In Singapore, obtaining a car ownership certificate is necessary, but Tesla vehicles are notably expensive, indicating that their buyers tend to be wealthy individuals. The solution remains unclear due to tax issues. What's the issue with his car ownership certificate? I didn't know it before, but I realized later that it was related to horsepower. Oh, think about electric vehicles, especially Teslas, which have more than 300 horsepower. Yes, it doesn't follow CC, it doesn't follow weight, well, it doesn't follow anything. He just wants to follow you, he just wants to make a horsepower calculation with you. So, a Tesla is like an admission fee. According to some of my Singaporean friends, their admission fee is based on a vehicle license. They say it costs 200,000 karma. 200,000 karma is that. 200,000. 200,000 is for a car. If you want your car to turn green, it will take 1 year or 10 years forever. Oh, 10 years. And if you want it to turn green, it will cost hundreds of thousands. How much does it cost to sell a Tesla in Hong Kong? It's about 300,000 or about 300,000 or 400,000. Okay, that's it. About 300,000 or 400,000. The gap is huge. Okay, that's all I have to say. So in fact, there is no threshold in the United States. You can buy it if you have money. What you need to consider is that when you actually use it, it's just a theoretical system, or it's not your actual use. System. Tesla's own advantages are not just electric cars. Tesla itself is also it is a very comprehensive called travel solution, including the most basic set of packages. One is automatic driving, which is combined with navigation, so you can cut the line by yourself, bury it by yourself, and drive by yourself. Yes, if you, for example, come out after dinner, you can pick up the car and ask it to be washed by yourself. Yes, this type of weird things, these are actually EVs that can do better first. Yes, so while traditional electric vehicles cannot do it, but they are, one limitation of EVs is whether their charging network is sufficient. Yes, you can't drive an EV across states.
Hey, this one doesn't matter because he can cut out the car charging system. A resource for charging stations.
But this is Tesla's advantage, that is, it has already launched a lot of superchargers early in the morning and built a lot of complete charging networks, especially in California. There is no need to bother with such a thing. If you put it this way, even if you stand up again and sit down and the family is tight, the rules of the game will be redefined, so I already have an advantage. Now again, I am faced with the fact that I will not get any subsidy in the future, but I will have very little subsidy in the future. Your opponents are the same. Your Benz, BMW, and GE4 are actually very difficult to compete with. They can only rely on your network. Because your network is the most developed.
The network Obsidian is a network. But if you put it this way, for example, it may be a BMW or Benz, but they also have other petroleum vehicles, and there are cars that you can buy.
Hey, so buying a car is another matter. The other thing is there are tariffs on European cars entering the United States.
Hey, but as you put it, I would like to ask if BMW or maybe Benz electric cars can use Tesla's charge?
Technically, yes, but some countries are open, but Hong Kong is not, so the situation is the same. Oh, yes. Well, at least it's the same in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is only divided into a Japanese style and a European style. We generally come from European style. As far as European style is concerned, it is divided into fast fork, medium fork, and slow fork, which are the same. The fast fork is the same size as the middle fork, and the slow fork is just half of the fast fork. Yes. In addition, Japan is another kind of cross-understanding.
Well, so I'm just talking, and when I see this, I want to ask you on today's program, actually, does it have any impact on Tesla? Because I have always talked to you about it. Is it really such a big influence? Except for you, the United States may have really repealed this electric vehicle ban, but Europe and China, well, they are still going ahead. So their market is actually still there, I think.
I can tell you that's it. Well, actually, in Europe, there are some car manufacturers. If you take the current time point back to 10 years ago, to 2015. In fact, many car manufacturers have a long-term vision, such as Daimler. Hey, this Mercedes is serious about not making ICE cars in 2030. It's been a while since I last talked about it, and no one remembers it. What? Hey, if you look at Japan, at this moment, Japan's new energy vehicle solutions are still hybrid. Hey, China's demand seems to have slowed down. Yes, to be on par with everyone else, these cars are very important. Even in the Lingda era, the global supply chain of electric vehicles is very important. Well, even if you see the profit forecast, the revenue is actually missing the market expectations. Even if it is worse than the market expectations, the profit is an increase of 20%. Yes, so you actually see that the global demand for EVs is weak, eh? The growth is slow. Yes, so is this a catastrophic impact on HESA? This depends on Adam Rojong's policy and one thing, which is whether these EV factories themselves are capable enough to compete with ICE. So I think Tesla has it. Ah, why? Hey, the first thing is that he talks about everything, and what I talk about all the way is about products. On the other hand, if you talk about the supply chain management behind it, it is actually very good. You think about it, every step of it is done to the best of its ability. Hey, its margins are also very high. In fact, what was the original intention of this policy? It's about supporting those in the United States, which are the traditional automakers, the auto industry. Yes, but their own operating level is weak. In fact, it is not as good as Tesla. Yes. This is where its own competitiveness lies, I understand.
Well, if your words have a particularly big impact on Tesla, even if you can talk like this, you just said the same thing. That is, Japan, in fact, if we want to implement the so-called new energy cars, they are all hybrid. Yes, do you think that Japan, on the one hand, is unexpectedly so far behind?
So this would be, assuming the EV car was one that was forward and advanced, that had a saying speed like that. Yes, which I don't necessarily agree with 100%. Well, because of the technical level of EV cars, there are actually several main things. The first is battery technology. System. The second is battery control, that's it. So the third one is a motor. Well, the motor is a motor that Japan has never used. The motor is a moto. Moto itself has no compression. So it is actually a very durable piece of software. Well, okay, power control is related to software, and software in Japan is not weak. In fact, it is not something that comes from space technology. Well, the battery depends on the supply chain. There is no doubt about Japan's battery technology. Hey, all high-end cars use Japanese batteries. In fact, it is just the quantity they produce. At the same time, the cost control system is not as good as that in China. So some of the more popular electric cars use batteries from China or South Korea to some extent. So I don't think that Japan's automobile industry is actually in a state of lagging behind or being beaten. You don't even know whether there will be a big reversal in 2028. Hey, it turns out that everyone finds that hybrid is the most popular. A good solution is coming, or parking hybrid. Because Europe is very interested in parking hybrid, so what? Plug-in hybrid.
One problem with hybrid is that its battery life is weak.
For example, if you rent a hybrid car in Japan, its range may be about 50 kilometers. Yes. Tao Chong needs to tie it up and save fuel. Tao does everything. I mean, maybe it will start the engine automatically when you have 20 kilometers left. Well, there are some cities in Europe that require zero emission and no emissions are allowed in them. There are two ways to do it. One is you just ride a bicycle and go in. First, you use a pure electric car, so the CO inside is pure. But it's plug-in hybrid, and it has a range of hundreds of kilometers, which may be enough to travel in these cities. The plug-in hybrid is a running car. It can power off, that's it.
Yes, no, so I'm wondering if Japan's electric car development industry will be... That is, does it have or what we are thinking, does it have to go to a very fast one? Development. Yes, what do you think?
I would like to ask. I don't think so.
Because there is no need for electric vehicles in Japan, because there are very few electric vehicles in Japan, because when they are hybrid, they no longer produce a lot of exhaust emissions.
Well, let's put it this way. Do electric cars have no exhaust emissions? Definitely not at this moment. It will happen when it is produced. Unless you have a very widespread use of nuclear power or zero-emission electricity. There may be something wrong with that. China is so big and has a lot of hydropower and nuclear energy, but its thermal power is still the mainstream. Secondly, don't forget that nuclear energy also produces nuclear waste and the same pollution. Nuclear energy is not considered a renewable energy source. So, this goes back to the most basic question. Is EV itself a really environmentally friendly solution? In fact, everyone is looking for something important here. So first there is the field of sale, first there is the lightweight vehicle. But for light vehicles, the problem is even greater, because the light itself needs to be electrolyzed, so how do you get the electricity?
Yes, the same security issue has not been resolved yet.
Hey, because hydrogen is really easy. You know, I don't know how it is, I don't know how dangerous it is. In fact, I dare not say it because all the fuels actually involve a huge amount of energy. Release. Well, this energy release is also dangerous if you don't control it well. So they have some of their own, that is, security measures. Well, if you're concerned about safety, diesel cars are actually the safest.
Yes, you mentioned it before.
Yes, because diesel itself is not a really useful fuel. Yes, gasoline is, but yes, gasoline cars are actually very dangerous.
Yes, you are right. Well, I don't, so I just thought of discussing an issue in the automobile industry with you in this short episode.
Oh, what? Yes, so that's what you mean?
Yes, why didn't you tell me earlier? It's not that simple. Yeah, but it's the next episode. It won't be like that in the next episode. In the next episode, are we going to be serious about it next time? No, actually, I was very serious in this episode, but this time I was serious about Bitcoin because Ah Kong Kong said that we will also be on stage, right?
Everyone is focused on, hey, don't worry, they have many, many topics for you to talk about.
That's right. Then we can wait and see next week. It's possible. Another new scene.
Next week. Next week what? Do you have a holiday next week? Hello, it's the first day of the new year.
It's the first day of the Lunar New Year. Oh, I can't wake up. We may have to go to bed next week, so I'll talk to you again. It's the first day of the Lunar New Year, that's right. Hey, I wish you all a happy new year. I hope you are in good health and everything goes well in the coming year. That's it.
Okay, that's all for today.
Okay, then we'll see each other next week. No, see you next week. Bye. Okay, bye.